Hello and welcome to a deeper look at Star Citizen's Persistent Universe roadmap for 2021. This is looking at beyond the Alpha 3.13 release and what's being worked on in Q1 2021. So we're going to be looking at the plans for various content, features and ships that may be coming in 2021 or are planned to be worked on in some way, so we can see what the sort of priorities of Cloud Imperium are, where their teams are currently allocated, and what they sort of like what we might see for various patches throughout the year. So throughout the year, there's also going to be general fixes and Cloud Imperium working through technical debt and updating backend features. So we're going to take more of a focused look on tangible features and improvements here. Please bear in mind as well, just because something is having work completed on it in a given quarter does not mean it's fully complete and ready for implementation in that quarter's patch. And we are mostly looking at completed deliverables in each quarter rather than just random work to them or work starting in one quarter and ending in the next. We're going to be looking at that as if it's finished in the quarter that it's finished in, if you see what I mean. It may require more work as well, some of these features that we talk about, potentially from another team, or there's going to be lots and lots of cases where a lot of this content's going to be reprioritized or unfinished. So this list is also not exhaustive. Cloud Imperium have said that they haven't included a large portion of their teams, including some of their core tech teams that look at things like iCache and server meshing, as well as downstream teams. So we're going to be getting more info on the roadmap and this and various deliverables and features that they've got planned throughout the year in January. But what we currently have here gives us a much deeper look at Cloud Imperium's plans and priorities for 2021, and at least an indicator of what is, planned to be worked on, where the game's going. So let's start with work and features that complete in Q2 2021. So that's the end of June, basically. If you want to see work on Q1 and the 3.13 patch, then please check out my very focused video on that, which I will link down below. Q2, so deeper force reaction gameplay. So this is staggers and things like that. 0G push and pull of objects. Basically, this is a means of traversal in EVA without thrusters, or at least a large part of it is that. Cooperative locomotion, allowing players to move larger objects, pushing them around. Personal inventory, allowing physically stored items and gear in containers and inventories, although there is more work to this later in the year as well. FPS radar and scanning, allowing detection while on foot of various EM and IR signatures. Healing and active status updates. So this is going to have a focus on implementing additional statuses, specifically intoxication and effects from drugs, and their associated functional and visual feedback. This also will allow players to use items with healing properties, such as the med pen, on other characters and NPCs. There's player interaction updates. They're updating the 890 jump mission to include body dragging, so that you can actually save unconscious NPCs, and there's going to be an unlawful variant of the mission as well. Horizon version 1 looks to be getting work here. The landing zone for Crusader, basically. This includes all areas, shipyards, hubs, gardens, and a spaceport that are being worked on, but this is specifically Horizon version 1. There are more versions to come. Dynamic mission systems, allowing for tailored and more appropriate missions that have more accurate rewards. There's changes and updates to the comm array system for detecting crimes. There's Security Networks version 1, where players might need clearance levels to operate certain doors, elevators, and get into certain areas. There's jump points, spacescaping, so creating environments around the Stanton and Pyro jump points. The Akiro asteroid cluster in Pyro is getting work, as well as specific angular asteroids for Pyro as well. The standard system's getting various polish updates. The Nix system is getting a lot of work as well, with Nix 1 to 3 all getting artwork done. It's safe to say that that looks to be the next star system that's planned for the game after Pyro, as we expect. There's various air traffic control updates, NPC spawning updates for the quantum simulation, a cargo system refactor, cargo loading and unloading times are going to be added, mission manager app updates with more features and reputation tracking, an asset manager to keep track of all your stuff, which will be very useful. The Argo MPUV and F8 Lightning being brought up to gold standard. The Nova Tonk or Tank is getting work. There's going to be various work on weapon capacitors version 1, and capacitors in general for 2021 are very much a thing. So this basically allows for better allocation of extra energy and how that affects gameplay, and it's going to be based on how you manage your power, basically. More work on the Hercules Starlifter C2 and M2 from the Vehicle Experience team. The Constellation Taurus is getting work done. There's various work on dynamic events. Restricted Areas 3.0's here, or at least getting work, making landing in cities a less intrusive, seamless experience. Signed distance field shields, so that is tech that we've been waiting on for ages, making better looking shields that form fit ships much better. There's landing gear springs, a retaliator room swapping, which is actually the start of modularity for ships. Boat movement, so they talk about supporting boats and other aquatic vehicles as a deliverable. Magazine stripping, allowing for different bullet types and the manual refill of ammo in FPS weapons. Charge and drain power, tier 0, that's going to be used for various missions and environments. I suspect that will have like the coil and other areas in game literally draining power out of ships, maybe part of sort of some sort of electronic warfare stuff. Let's move on to Q3 now. So this is work planned for completion by the end of September in some form. We've got Grimhex scramble races, we've got updated item interaction animations, lockers and inventory tier 1, allowing armor and clothing to be stored on shelves and in containers more appropriately. So that's going a bit beyond just the physical inventory. This is going to allow you to like have folded away clothing that's physicalized and visible, I think, and sort of like your EVA suits and stuff appear in chambers. We've got EVA tier 2 introducing EVA fuel and encouraging push and pull sort of like around for traversal as well as tractor beam use in the game. Better animations for stairs, a tracking app that allows players' criminality to be shown and helps understand jurisdictions and areas in the game where laws have certain effects. Deeper rewrite of the air traffic control systems for server meshing, more updates to NPC spawn lockers, small home outposts are getting work. A small home for players to live and shelter in. They consist of a central hub and a few optional interior and external modules. They provide the basic necessities for a small group of people for an indefinite amount of time. Jump points with their functional inner tunnels. That's obviously a major thing as well. Security services that track the actions of a player and NPCs and allow for deeper bounty hunting gameplay. Virtual AI services that help drive logic and subsumption. And the Quanta AI and the NPC scheduler that helps NPCs dynamically spawn with appropriate archetypes. There are updates to shop UIs in preparation partially for org perks. There are fire extinguishers and gameplay associated with that. The Hull B, Redeemer, Ares Ion and Inferno, as well as Hercules Starlifter A2 are all getting work. They're bringing the F7A Hornet Mark 1 and 2, as well as the Retaliator up to gold standard. FPS devices and deployables, otherwise known as gadgets, like mobile shields, are starting to get work. Various updates to ships, obviously, ship CPU blades, with various sort of gameplay and functionality, allowing for automation of some ships functions and unlocking others are being worked on here. Turret improvements, better third-person cameras, and MFD rework that allows for more customizable MFDs that I believe that also save all your customization to them and are generally sort of more appropriate for ships and vehicles. Vehicle-in-vehicle spawning looks to be getting work here. Multi-grid signed distance field tech to allow capital ships and large ships to split into multiple parts. Cutting tier 2, this will allow the multi-tool to cut through various objects and services. Work on salvage tier 0 as well. And for more of the final stretch, at least for 2021 and Q4, that's sort of work planned to be completed by mid-December, we have thruster capacitors version 1, prone and sliding updates. Hopefully it's not going to be true sort of Apex Legends sliding. That would be a bit mad. There's better ladders and the ability to do actions while on ladders, like fire a pistol single-handed, things like that. Visor HUD updates, weapon handling updates, the pyro system, planet and mission setup, as well as adding small rundown rest stops to the system, and Ruin Station. Once a mining platform operated by Pyrotechnic Amalgamated until it was abandoned and overrun, Ruin Station is a highly dangerous location frequented by feuding gangs and outlaws. There's a counterfeiting and data download mission that will have players tasked with infiltrating ships defended by hostile NPCs to hack terminals. There will be both lawful and unlawful variants of these missions. More work on dynamic events, dynamic populations, and probability volumes that will affect encounters. Ground scramble races on Hurston and its moons. Reputation gates for missions. Orison version 2 is planned to get work here, improving Crusader's landing zone with more shops and expanding various services around the city. Updates to garages for Lorville and Levski. Outpost theme variants for the colonialism outposts, which allows different points of interest in the world, with themes ranging from abandoned, mining, research, and many more. The massive Aaron Halo asteroid field in the Stanton system is planned to get work here. Looting updates. There's Mobiglass Hangar Manager app that gives ASOP sort of terminal type functionality, but on your Mobiglass. Updates to the notification system and a new app for your Mobi. Org perks and benefits leveraging the reputation system. They're going to be adding in-game perks based on organizations the player has joined. You've got the Hull A and B, and excitingly, the RSI Polaris getting work here as well. We've got shield capacitors version 1, ground vehicles version 2 with more robust tuning and identity between various ground vehicles, a better UI for quantum travel, improvements to fuel scooping, shield emitters are becoming physical components that can be destroyed, control surfaces, so ships with control surfaces will be able to use them in atmospheres to aid their maneuverability, which is going to be cool. This will allow for improved performance from ships that have weak maneuvering thrusters in atmosphere and bring new depth to the aerodynamic flight in the game. Multi-crew permission systems that will allow players to assign roles to each other in running large ships. Roles determine what you can access and what you can view, what you can manipulate ship system-wise, and players will be able to customize this as they need. There's lots of game optimizations, including culling areas of ships and sort of stations and geometry and stuff that's not in view. There's a restore ship state function that they're working on, which sounds like it will be able to do things like save cargo ships from 30 Ks maybe? That's what it sounds like, so maybe you wouldn't lose everything if the game crashes while you're flying around. Work to finalise the Gladius dashboard buttons with multiple states and fully demonstrable with a procedural animation for each state. We've got elevator and ramp ground alignment, weapon misfire and wear, as well as FPS weapon overheating, a crossbow weapon, and new damage types, plasma, incendiary, and disarray. I don't know what disarray is going to be. Confusing, maybe e-warfare typey stuff. There are some features in the work that look to be completing early 2022 as well. So let's talk about this very briefly. There's subsumption and server mission logic, as well as quantum simulation work. Quantum simulation stuff will serve as the background economy for Star Citizen. Thousands of unseen simulated entities will carry out trade, commerce, piracy, and security to populate and inform other gameplay systems. We've got Prisons V3, new escape routes are planned here, challenging new gameplay and stealth elements. Bounty Hunting version 2, enabling players to track criminals via a Mobiglass security app, which is linked to distress beacons, comm arrays, air traffic control systems, cameras, and NPC informants. This will rely on various new back-end tech, including virtual AI and the NPC scheduler, and security services. We also, generally throughout 2021, look like we might be getting work on dynamic events every major patch, and that could be because they want to have a dynamic event in each major patch or evolve them, and some of these could be exclusive-ish to a patch, so you might see Xenothreat in this 3.12 patch, but then they might go quiet for a couple of patches or something, and some new other interesting sort of dynamic events might turn up, like a Vandal raid or something for a major patch release. Do you see what I mean? So some interesting stuff happening there for sure. And that's sort of it for what the roadmap is showing for Star Citizen's persistent universe currently. Obviously, the accuracy of exactly what's going to be getting love and exactly worked on does get a little more murky and confusing the further we get out, and it's not going to be as accurate for sure. And we will cover Squadron 42 work in another video in the future, but I'm interested to know what you think will make it in 2021. What are you excited to see? What are you upset that it hasn't turned up. Could the Q4 2021 patch have pyro, jump points, and server meshing, and actually be considered a 4.0 release? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Shipmas! We're giving away a Mercury Star Runner in December because it's Christmas and we do it every month anyway. Zin, put a Mercury Star Runner in my hand, because that's what we're giving away, and put a hat on it, like a Christmas hat. There you go. That's animation for you, potentially. I just moved my hand around. So just comment on any one of my videos during the month of December to be in for a chance of winning that. Also, maybe give someone special the gift that keeps on giving. I'm talking, of course, about NordVPN. Links below. Also, don't forget Shadow. They do cloud-based gaming stuff, so you can get that as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Click the YouTube join button, like and subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Thanks for supporting the channel. Merry Christmas. Oh, oh, oh. Mercury Star.